Hello, YouTube modeling community. This is Rusty Rotor. This will be part 2 of the aqua rod race team build. If you guys remember, part 1, we got the body out. We decided which wheels we'd use for the trailer for the boat. We talked a little bit about the color scheme, how we were going to, try to paint it. We are still going, we are definitely going to use black primer. We will use, give me just a second. Yeah, here it is. Okay, guys, sorry, not prepared today. This is the color, if you guys can remember, my GTO. This is turquoise metallic. It's not shook up very well, so it's going to be really hard to see the color. Get it up there. So we're going to be using this. Like I said, we'll be using black primer. It's not a show car or anything like that, so I think we're going to try. It may be a fail, and we can always redo, but we're going to do the trailer, excuse me, in Abyss Black from Tropical Glitz. You guys can see, get the name there. This is excellent paint, guys. I mean, this was $16, and I mean, there's so much paint in here. I can't even imagine how many models I could paint with it. I've painted at least 4 chassis already with it. I painted the Ala Impala with it. I did a couple other little things, and I still got over a half a bottle. So, yeah, it goes a long way. Once we get the primer down, we'll scuff the primer. Once we check over everything, make sure there's no flaws anywhere, or major flaws. And this is the color we're going to be using, the silver. It is called Galactic Silver. This is excellent to use underneath pearls and candies. Try to shake it up. It's not real, I mean, it's got a little flake to it. I mean, but it's beautiful. Kind of seeing the side bottle. So this will be our base. And then we have the Miami Beach, which shifts, fades from like that blue color, almost like Nassau blue, to a turquoise. And then we got the darker turquoise. Kind of see here. So hopefully between these 3 things, we can create something, fantastic, something different, never been seen. I've got the body here. We will use the kit decals on the box art, so we'll have a splash of red. So we're going to need to incorporate red in other areas, minor. We don't want, because the decals are good size, so that's a good splash of red. We'll probably do, I can't remember, the rotor detail has calipers on it. We'll do the calipers red, because they are 5-spoke Kraggers, so you'll be able to see through the wheels pretty good. We will be adding the MGSF parts to the van. We will install an ignition switch into the dash. We will also put the valve stems in the rims. I have to look through the rest of the parts and see if there's anything else unique we can kind of add to this. We haven't done all of our shopping yet. What I call shopping, going to the pegboard and looking at parts and seeing, because we are going to add some detail here and there where it's needed. On the van, since the van opens, you know, the hood, the engine will be stock basically. We'll probably add a distributor to it. We will add some detail to the frame underneath, whether it be the, you know, bolt head detail, whatever, just to kind of marry it up, dress it up. We want the van, we don't want the van to set level. You know, this is 70s, mid 70s, early 80s. So we want a little rake on the van. The van is a hot rod. You know, it's got, you know, dual exhaust. It's got a, maybe they've put a cam in the engine, but it's got a 350 Chevy in it. So it's pretty stout. It is, you know, the long wheelbase. So, it, you know, big fat tires in the back. So, you know, when he's not pulling the boat, you know, he's got a nice little weekend cruiser, daily driver if need be. You know, we opened up the sunroof. I have done a lot of sanding on it. You can see a lot of the lines, you know, the black lines are gone. We have some etching, scribing still to do. We still have more sanding to do. I still need to work on the areas that I marked. But, you know, we'll just working on it as we go. Like I said, I'm trying to do my best to give you guys an overhead view of me actually doing it and talking to you while I'm doing it. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. You know, you can let me know down in the comments. You know, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It's free. I'm sorry for the blur in here. I've got a couple extra lights on, and it's causing chaos with the camera. Anyway, that's a little better. Let's see if I can take some of that off. There we go. And it's, this room is really affected by weather. If it's muggy and outside, I've noticed this room kind of gets muggy. Not but muggy inside as far as the lighting goes. And I don't know why that is. I mean, if you guys have any indication, you know, drop down there in the comments. But yeah, that's just, I want to make sure I showed you the colors. These are what we're going to attempt. We may end up having to go into the purple pond and strip and figure out a different route, but that's what I'm going to attempt to do. I like the dark turquoise theme kind of added to it, so I'm not sure which way, you know, direction this is going to go. I don't really, I may do some test spray, you know, like just get a little flat piece of styrene or something, and we'll prime it black, you know, mask off an area, we'll prime it black, and then we'll lay some tape, and we'll lay, you know, the dark turquoise, we'll lay the Miami Beach over that. We may incorporate some of that Nassau blue into it if we have to. I don't want to custom mix anything, because then again, this is a big hunk of plastic. We are trying to fade from the van to the back of the boat, but we don't want to be exactly like the box art. You know, we don't want to, and we don't want to be exactly like the 32 as far as colors. I don't like having identical color cars in my collection. I like everything to be different to a degree, a different shade, multicolored, whatever it is. I like to keep everything different. To me, that's unique. Instead of having 5 red cars, it's one thing if you're just building Ferraris. You know, you don't have a lot of red cars or black cars. You know, whatever, yellow. I mean, Ferrari's kind of getting into the different colors now. So, but still, it's very repetitive, and that to me, and that's only to me, it's very boring, very drab. You look in your beautiful display case or all your individual display cases, and you see nothing but, you know, all the same color car. I get it if your favorite shade is, you know, that color, red, whatever it may be, and that's just what you want to paint, and that's kudos to you. But for me, no. So, you know, we may do a little test spray just to kind of play with the colors a little bit before we actually decide how we're going to lay it down. We want to go from light and swoop into maybe going from light, start getting a little darker, a little darker, a little darker, you know, to the final shade on the back of the boat. The boat has the same graphics as the van, so we got to play in mind that, you know, we got some red, splash of red on the side of the boat. We've got the blue waves, and I think it's like blue and white, light blue. So we gotta be careful with the colors not to overpower one or the other. We want it all to kind of look, you know, custom and natural. So that being said, I'm going to turn the camera around. We'll get into the next series. And again, guys, let me know down in the comments what you think. Get a chance, hit that link down below. Hobby Nut Models, go pick you up a copy of this. It's a great kit. It does have a little flash, but it's nothing that's out of control or is going to hamper anything. I've not seen any warping yet. The body looks nice and straight. It sits very flat on the table here. I don't see no wonkiness in it. Same way with the boat. The trailer looks nice and straight. So I think you'd have a really good, clean build, no matter which way you want to go with it. But again, I hope you're enjoying, the way I'm going with it. It's going to be kind of dry for a while, guys, until we really start getting into the sub-assemblies and getting stuff ready to go into the paint booth. But, I heard your cries, and I hope you're enjoying this. So let's turn it around, and I'll get the camera set up, and we will get into it. See you in a few minutes. Okay, guys, we're back. So now we know we need this piece here to kind of finish up the boat wheels. We'll go ahead and clip it off, and then we can set that here. See, because this is the boat trailer wheel here, and we just don't like the steely look. We're going for the custom look, so we can set this out of the way. All four of these wheels are the same, so we want to clip that, and clip that. Give us our other tire and wheel. We are going to take two of these just for extra stability for that axle since it's so thin. Just to have. It does need some cleanup. Just clip that off there. We'll clean it up later. So we know we don't need none of this. There is a nice heater box, nice radiator in that kit. And like, again, this is a 68 Chevy Camaro. Does have some nice details, but we have that for later. So we have both wheel backs, the tire, the wheel, and there's nothing on here we need. So yeah, we are golding there. We're not going to use that one. I'll put that over there with that stuff. So now we know, this is our other boat tire. We can put them together, and we can set this stuff to the side. The way I like to do it is, even though we're not done with it, we've got it figured out. I'll set it up here in the corner, out of the way. You guys can't see that, but yeah, so now we know we can eliminate this bag. So the rest of the parts for the boat, bag down there. We got our boat pieces here, our boat pieces here. This is the van pieces we need. We know that's garbage, right in the garbage can. And this is our boat pieces, so we know we need to set this. You guys really want to stay organized, kind of like me. You got the boat frame. This is a good time to put all your pieces in one bag that pertain to that. You can even put your tires and wheels in here. We're not going to, but so we know, here in the next few days, we'll get some footage of this, getting this cleaned up and edges and dry fitting some stuff. But for now, we're going to we'll just put it back in the box. That way we know where it's at. These are all of our van pieces. We don't need to worry about any of these. It's got a metal axle here too, it looks like. Or something. I don't know what that is, but these headers, I'm not dis-sold on the headers, but I'm not sold on the headers yet either. Lake pipes. We do have a ton of chrome, both for the boat and the van. Yeah, this is mostly boat parts here. You can see it is a 427. It is a Ford engine. There's that scoop. I mean, it's okay, but there's some wonkiness in the mold here. You guys can see it, so I don't like that so much. We do got a tack, our prop. We will probably strip the prop, and we'll do that in brass. Or this prop here, I don't know which one we're going to use. I do like the foot pedals. We'll keep those in chrome. We'll do some black wash. The headers, still not sold on those yet for the boat. So yeah, we got some deciding to do on what we're going to do with all this. Again, this is mostly for the boat. I don't know what this one's here's for. It looks like a valve cover, but it's singular. It says interceptor, but there's not another valve cover. So I don't know why they give you just one. I have no clue. This one is primarily for the van. And you can see our tires and wheels here for the van, so they match very nice to what we have for the trailer. Our mirrors, coil springs, our center caps, which we won't be using the stock wheels, but these will be nice to have in our parts box for if we want to do like a C10 or another van or whatever. We have them for that. I don't know what these are. There's quite a few things we got to figure out what they are. The wiper blades. We may do some shopping in my parts. I do have a set of wiper blades that are a lot nicer than this and won't get damaged as bad as these will, taking them off. And they're black to where all I got to do is chrome them. Then I can sand them up, make them nice and clean, and then chrome them. But this is the one part I was looking for right here. We will clip off with a little extra. Just because we don't want to nip too close. We can always do more cleanup. Now I can come back in and I can kind of see. Hope you guys can see too. Put the flat side to it and I take that off. This edge is pretty good here. Yep, clip. I can come back and take a little more off this one. There we go. And this is where the sandpaper comes in handy. We're just going to lightly sand because we will have to touch it up with Molotow. We don't want to re-chrome this. Oh, this is a spot. Just little clips and then lightly sand. You don't want to take too much of the chrome away. Make sure you're shaping it properly. It's not deformed looking. Chrome, when you remove it, it'll have a sharp edge up high. So always remove that. And then it's smooth again. Same way. So now you can see we've only got just little tiny spots to touch up with the Molotow. And we come over here in the same way. We've got a little jagged edge there. We want to straighten that up a hair. There we go. Now we can knock it down with the sandpaper. We got our shape back. Now we just want to knock down the edge. And we got it right off the bat. Okay, so now we just got to hit this. And I'll tell you something that's really good. Oh, that's good. We're golden. On your chrome, you'll get fingerprints all over this, but if you have those little glass cleaner pads, it's perfect to go over your chrome. It'll polish it right back up, shine it up. You know, you come back over with Novus 1 and polish it back up. But for this purposes, we're just getting it clean enough to where now we're not clean on the body, but we can see how well that fits. And make sure we don't have anything before we start sanding. Excess we got to take out, and we don't. Look, that fits so nice down through there. You can see that it fits so nice. Everything, the bumper sticks out like it's supposed to. Fits nice and smooth. I'm just barely holding this in place. We got a nice straight edge up where it meets the hood. So we know all we got to do is clean the flash off. It's just a light sanding, and then this is going to fit, and fit very nice. The back is just a bumper, so we're not too worried about that one as where it fit, molds into the body here. So now we know that's okay, so we can take that part and set it to the side. We know we still got to come back here and clean this up. Now, just looking through this stuff, this is all boat related, so we're going to take this and put it with our boat. So when we get to that step, we have everything in one bag, other than the tires and wheels. We've got our 2 axles here and a piece that's close, so we want to put those in with the trailer so we know those are our axles and reference point. And we drop something. Here we go. Again, keeping all your tools here to the right. Now we have an extra piece. I always keep that over there. Now we have a mystery piece here. We don't know what this goes to yet, so we don't want to do nothing with it. We want to make sure we know where it's at all times. We can look through the instructions and find that. So we're pretty much done with this chrome piece here. So we can take it and keep it from getting scratched up, put it back in plastic, and we're going to put it away until that time. Tissue paper. And then the rest of these parts are all van related, so we need to get those out because that's where we're at first. We're going to get the van built to a degree, and we can put our glass in the back box. And we've got our kit tires. We got our baggie here. We can put that in there for now. So we got our axle and our 4 tires off to the side. Here's our wheel backs for the van, so we'll have to use those. Here's our hood. So now at this point we can clip our hood off, so we know that's the next step on the body. And I'll get in here so you guys can see. So I just lightly come in here and I cut with the angle because the backside of the hood has a little bit of an angle on it, so I got a little nub there, and that's okay. So now I'm just going to come back in and I'm going to lightly shave until I get down to the body shape. Don't want to take too much. See, I still got a little hump in there. That's okay, because we can hit that with our sandpaper, because when you come in here you can still see it. So we know we just got to smooth that out a little bit, straighten it up. We don't have to do a lot to it right now. There we go. So now we got our line back. Perfect. Now, our next step would be we got to remove this. So I'm going to show you. This is by perfect example using the black marker. We want to do a lot of coloring in here because there is some defects in that hood that we want to get rid of. We want a nice clean hood because it's going to be visible. So it's extra prep work, but it's okay. So you can see all of our marks. So we just sand until all that black is gone, or as much as possible. If we have to, we can add a spot of putty here and there to fill it in. So now we got that marked. We can set that to the side so when we start removing the hood, we can measure back and forth. The next step I like to do is the firewall. I want to make sure that that fits inside there because this will be attached probably to the frame or the floorboard and then go inside it. If I can install this into the body, I will before, and then take my chances on everything else. So again, this is on an angle, so I want to cut on an angle. Doesn't take much, and there'll always be a little left over, so you can see we have nibs and nubs. And I'm just going to come back and I'm going to go down my straight edge and take it off till I have nothing other than a little flash that we're going to have to clean up a little bit to get in there. So there. So we got our part off, no problems. Now we can take our body and we can see, you know, we've got a gap on either side, hardcore. Doesn't mean the body's going to get squeezed into it, but it could. So we know primarily where that's going to go. So now we can check and see. This is where it'd meet up to. is this, because you can see it's matched with here and with here. So we know this piece is going to go on, you know, right here. So yeah, we can sand this all down real nice and smooth, and we can get the angle we need, because we know this is angled a little bit here. It's primarily flat. That's primarily flat. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit right in here. But if we cure that together, then we know that's where it goes. And putting that inside cover on will reinforce this to this, and it all holds. So those three pieces, which is this one right here. See if I can cut it off without buggering it. We'll worry about trimming it up later. So you got the doghouse. You know it's going to go in here. I would think that they would make a little guide around it to hold it in place, but they don't. So we know, you know, when we put this in, do this here, we've got this piece, the firewall that goes in here like this, you know, and we want this to be right. So we know once this is cleaned up, it's going to go all the way up to that and be held together like so. You know, so yeah, we got to clean up all the edges, make sure it sits tight up against the inside of the firewall. And you know, this has interior detail on it. Gas pedal, brake pedal is all here. The rubber mats for your feet are there. So we got to, you know, clean up all of our edges really nice. We want this to seat up. Basically, we'll put this piece to here first. See, it almost looks like this saddles down over top of it, but it doesn't. Yeah, it goes in right there like that. It's very tight. You got to have it just right, or there'll be a gap on the other side. So we'll use thin set. We'll get this all in place before we paint any of this. Again, the interior will be... I'm torn. Maybe you guys can help. Leave a comment down below on the interior color. Remember, we're going silver. We'll have blues and aquamarine colors on here. And then, you know, a splash of red in the word aqua rod. I don't want to do an outlandish color like red. Anything like that. I mean, I could do the blue interior. That is an option. But I'm thinking either black would be good, or, you know, something else. I'm not for sure, but you guys can let me down in the comments what you think the interior color should be for the van. I think black would be really good since we're not putting a lot of detail in it. We can highlight all the details on everything, like around the, you know, chrome around here, chrome on the dash, whatever. Or we can do a tan interior. I just don't want to be obvious with red interior to pull out the interior and have the aqua colors with the red. That may be too much red. So, but we got to make a decision because we want to do the side panels. There is some texture in here. So we want to, I'll remove as much of these as I can because I will paint the headliner, blah, blah, blah. But this is all textured, so it's carpet, so we will flock this. It'll be the biggest one I've ever done. So kind of looking forward to that. And, you know, then of course that fits in there. It's got our wheel wells. It fits up into here, like right there. Gives us your guide for your rear bumper. That's what these two holes are for. I'm sure that bumper's pinned, but that sets that, keys it kind of, so you know exactly where it's got to be. Yep. Right there. So yeah, that'll be nice. I'm sure there is a frame for this somewhere. There it is. So we'll do our frame all in black. We'll highlight any bolt detail just for, you know, bolted on detail. We will be running
The dual exhaust, definitely. I'm just not so sold on the lake pipes yet. We may run our own custom exhaust and run it out to in front of the back tires. So when the van's backing down the boat ramp, primarily the exhaust would be right here on both sides versus back here, where, you know, if the engine's stalled, it'd suck water back up through the exhaust. Never a good thing. So yeah, that's where we're at. So when we come back, we will be doing some mocking up. Not so much mocking up, but like sub-assemblies. I like to paint my frame and differential and all together at one time, unless it's being customized. So with that being said, we will get our frame and check and see how hard it'll be to put the shocks in after. If it's going to be too hard, then we'll just paint the shocks to match the frame. Get our diff put together, leaf springs in place, so on and so forth. And then that'll kind of be ready to go to get, you know, primed and painted. There's a little bit of cleanup to do on the frame. We'll address that when we come back. We still want to make it as clean as possible. So, yep. Give you a pause, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, guys, we're back. You know, as you saw yesterday, that we worked on the sunroof. We got that, you know, straightened out. We got our points of interest that we can pay a little more attention to. We got that, you know, 99% out. I can't feel it with my finger anymore, so I know it's probably not concerned. We still got to open up the hood. We saw how we did it here. We'll repeat the same process. Now underneath there's not the same guidelines to go by, so we're back here on the surface. This you really have to pay attention to. Get your other piece out. Have it to put in place once you remove this. That way you don't remove too much detail to get the new hood to fit in there and fit perfectly. Now, if you're really skilled, you could remove this piece and hinge it back here. Very fine tubing, or, you know, back here in the corner and have a dual hinge type setup like you do for a door, and use this hood. But the kit does supply you, where'd it go? I just had it. I was just looking at it. Right here. Set the other bag down on top of it. So here's our new hood, and you can see it's got a little bit of flash around the edges. You know, it's going to need a little cleanup, so we want to not remove too much now. I'd rather leave it like this, and then we'll dry fit it in, and we will shape and sand what we need to on the hood and the body to get the best fit possible for this hood. But in the same fact, we want to remove this hood as carefully as we can in case that this is just a wash and we can't use this at all. And we can go back to our, you know, plan B, and we can hinge this. Basically, looking at it this way, your hinge would be right here, right next to the vent, and right here on the other side of the vent, you know, running down, and it would flip up and flip down, which you can do also. It's just, you know, how you want to do it. In this case, we know this hood here has got the hinge right here and right here. We can try to make that work. I don't like to hinge my hoods. I like to take my hood off and set it to the side so you got full view down into the engine compartment. So that being said, we're going to set that to the side. We know where we're at with that. Like I said, I'll do the rest of that off camera. We do want to focus our detail right now before we get too farther, so we know if we have to go looking anymore, is finding our knife. There it is. Trusty knife. Still got the little blade in it. We do need to change to a bigger blade, so give me a second. I'm going to get the bigger blade out. It's not so much a bigger blade, it's just a number 11 blade. Ow, to not stab yourself like I just did. And I always put the blade back in the container so I know where it's at. Put our number 11 in there. And I'm bleeding. Great. Alright, first battle wound. So I can say I got my blood, sweat, and tears into this one. I don't know what this is. I still need to look at instructions and find out what this piece right here is. I know it's probably to the boat or the van. I'm not sure, but we will figure that out. But what I wanted to focus today on is fitting and seeing which wheels, and that fits for our wheels. So if we have to go looking for more options, this is a good time to do it. So we'll just open our tires, get them all out. We're going to check them out. They are different sizes, so you got to be mindful of that. Those two are the same. That is the same. And that is not the same. That's not the same. That's not the same. Uh-oh. See? Now we got a problem. We have 3 tires that are the same. That's the same too, but I guess it is the same. It just looks... It looks a little smaller, but I don't think it is. It actually is, guys. It's a hair. Make sure you check your tires in this kit. This tire is a hair smaller than the other 3, which would cause the van to teeter when it's sitting on all 4 tires. It's really close. If I put them... I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me get this stuff out of the way where you guys can see this. So we're looking at the tires, right? Now, if I put my level in there, or my thing, and I'm standing firm on the one on the left here. If I'm standing firm on this one, and just seeing how it grazes the other one, height-wise, we're good. So it may just be an optical illusion. So, but look, eyeballing it down through here, this tire looks a little smaller. But we do have 4 tires. These are the van tires, so we don't need those. These 2 are the same size, so we know these are our boat tires. These are what we got to work with. So the first thing we want to do is, I guess we can clip one out. I prefer to use these if possible. Just because they're a little shallower. We don't need deep dish, and we need to see if these fit, and they do. Oh boy. So we're lucky. So you can see that fits very nice. It would have to have a wheel back on it. There's none on that one, so these are the only ones. So let's clip one of these off and see. Anytime you modify or you're kit bashing, even though the part may fit the wheel, we got our wheel back. You can see how deep that is. All 4 of them are the same. So it's not necessarily going to fit. It fits like it should be, but it's wider than that. So you have a choice now. You can cut this down to the size you need. That way, at least, because if you look at it, these seat together. So now it's I can break out the calipers, and I can measure the inside of the tire and see how wide that is, and I can make my overall width that. I can make it a hair wider because I can squeeze the tire down and it'll spread out and, seat on the wheel good. But we know that wheel fits. We also have an alternative choice. If you look, you can see here we have some wheel backs that are chrome, which may be a nice alternative to the white one with a solid back. And we can place that like so, and that fits really nice. And it hides behind that. You can't even see it from this side. You turn it over, you can see. It is a little higher still. Get that angle right, you can see. Higher than the tire. But that's easier to remove the material than this. So we know this van would have disc brakes in the front. How visible they'll be is yet to be determined. But we want to keep that in mind because we can see through the spokes. that actually marries together pretty nice. So we can actually sand, because that's about how much it's sticking up on the back side of the tire. We can sand that down smooth and leave this alone, or we can remove and sand this down. And there's a little, hold on, let's try that. Hold on one second. There's little bumps. We're going to remove those real quick, and that may just be our culprit right there. So we'll place our wheel back in the rim. I do like the way that fits. That seats in there very nice. And being pad printed is going to be really nice for the trailer to match. And then we can line the spokes up on the back side. And that is actually, that's doable, guys. Now, that may fit the hub assembly in the front easier. It may be too big. I may have to sleeve it. I may have to cut that down to the spokes. Just, you know, to determine how far out the trailer wheel sits. But that leads us into, now we know what we can use. We got avalanche here. There we go. We want to get the trailer out. There's the engine. There's the main frame. We want the axle. And I think that's what that was. That's, where'd it go? Right here, yep. This is the axle for the trailer, which is not very big. I can twist that off. You know, you got to clean up the edges, so we'll just hold it down here. It's out of line of sight. Always keep your tools to one side, that way they're always where you need them. Unlike me, where I just throw everything down. So we know, we can set that up out of the way, that there. Now we got that, so we want to clean up the axle. We're just cutting that little nib off. You can even sand it. You know, that's where these little sponges come in really big handy. You know, just sand it off. Same way as, you know, this has a mold line. So, you know, I like to take this and wrap it around that, and I just pull the part through. You know, I can do it here too on the other side. And eventually, you know, even now, there's a little mold line. You can kind of see it maybe. I don't know how close that's going to show up. But, either way. So we know now, we put this in there. We got our wheel here, and you can see how much slap is around there. So to use this setup, we'd have to sleeve that. And I have tubing, so I can find a piece to fit inside there and reduce it down to fit this. Or I can put a stouter axle, which is probably what we will do, than this little tiny thin piece. Because our leaf springs are right here. See how it has the hole through it? Sorry for bumping the camera, guys. This fits right through there. So what we'll do is our tubing will go over top of this, go to this, and then there'll be another piece of tubing out here where we can glue it, and this will act as a pin, and this will be flush with the end of the tube that'll go, you know, inside the tire. As an example, I thought I had a piece laying over here. I don't. I've got like the same size styrene tube right here. This is solid. So is this. It's just a little more stouter, more heavy duty, I guess, way to say. So I could use either one. So I know if I lost this, I have this as a backup. So we'll keep it over here to the right. Here's a piece of solid styrene tube. That actually is getting really close to fitting in there. So we know we can take this over to our evergreen supply and match this up And if we got something that's a hair bigger than this, we know we're golden. And we don't have to reduce this. The trailer, in this case, is a small boat, so it probably wouldn't have brakes. It would have the gravity style brakes, if anything. So we're not really worried about adding that detail. We could, but, you know, we're not going to get that far. Our main detail is in the boat, not so much the trailer. Although the trailer will get some, set that to the side. We got the frame here. It will get some detail. We will we will use flocking, but we're going to cover these rails in matching color of flocking so it looks like carpet. And we will leave the ends exposed maybe, or maybe we'll just do the whole thing covered in flocking. And then we will treat that with hairspray so it's more durable as the guides for the boat to come up on. So yeah. So now that we've kind of gone over everything, we got adjusted what tires and wheels we want to use. It'll be time to move on to something different. So again, guys, I'm gonna lower it down here, and we'll be back. So stay tuned.